Have you ever noticed how earning more money doesn't always feel like making progress? People move from $40,000 to $80,000, from $80,000 to $120,000. And yet, the feeling of being behind doesn't disappear. Because income grows in steps, but wealth moves in stages, and most people never realize which stage they're actually in. Imagine a 24-year-old professional in Chicago, London, or Berlin. They've just landed their first full-time job. Salary, around $55,000 a year. After taxes, healthcare, pension contributions, and basic deductions, their monthly take-home pay is roughly $3,400. At first, it feels like freedom. Until the structure of modern life starts filling in the gaps. Rent for a shared apartment or small studio, $1,200. Transportation or car expenses, $300. Groceries and basic living, $400. Phone, subscriptions, internet, $150. Student loan payments, $250. Social life and small lifestyle spending, $300. By the end of the month, nearly everything is gone. Savings might exist, but they're thin, fragile, inconsistent. This is the first stage of wealth. Not poverty, not stability, just survival with income. At this stage, the financial mistake is subtle. People assume that earning money equals building wealth, but income is not ownership. If all your money flows out each month, you are maintaining a lifestyle, not building a system. And psychologically, this stage trains the brain in a very specific way. It teaches you to think in monthly terms. What can I afford this month? Can I upgrade this now? Will my next paycheck cover it? The future becomes secondary, the present becomes everything. Now fast forward a few years, the same person gets promoted. Salary increases to $75,000. Maybe $90,000. Monthly take-home rises to around $4,800. Objectively, this is progress. But something else happens at the same time. The apartment gets better. Rent increases to $1,800. A car enters the picture. Monthly cost, $500 including fuel and insurance. Food becomes more convenient. Subscriptions increase. Travel becomes more frequent. Monthly spending quietly rises to match income. And once again, very little remains. This is the second stage of wealth. Higher income, same financial position. The hidden system flaw becomes clearer here. Every salary increase is designed to feel like permission. Permission to upgrade, and socially, those upgrades feel necessary. Colleagues live a certain way, friends travel more. Online life normalizes higher spending, so the brain creates a new baseline. And anything below it starts to feel like falling behind. If you slow this down with simple math, the impact becomes obvious. An extra $800 per month in lifestyle upgrades is nearly $10,000 per year. Over a decade, that's $100,000 before accounting for investment growth. What feels like a small monthly improvement quietly delays wealth by years. Psychologically, this stage is driven by identity. People don't just spend for comfort. They spend to match who they believe they've become. I earn more, so I should live better. But living better often means owning less and consuming more. Now imagine a different decision, same salary increase. But instead of upgrading everything, the person upgrades selectively. And slowly, rent increases slightly, not dramatically. The car remains practical. Spending grows, but not at the same speed as income. And the difference begins to accumulate. $500 per month, then $800. Then $1,000 starts moving into savings and investments. Emergency fund builds, debt reduces, retirement accounts grow. After several years, something changes. Net worth reaches $100,000. This is the third stage of wealth. And externally, it doesn't look very different. Same type of apartment, similar lifestyle. But internally, the experience of life shifts. At $100,000 net worth, instability starts fading. A job loss is no longer immediate panic. Unexpected expenses don't collapse the system. The person is no longer living paycheck to paycheck. They are living with margin. This is where thinking changes. Decisions are no longer about survival. They become about positioning. What gives me flexibility? What reduces long-term risk? What compounds over time? And most importantly, what do I not need to upgrade? From here, the path continues, but it becomes quieter. Salary grows into the $100,000, $130,000 range. Investments continue. Compounding begins to show early effects. A portfolio that once felt small starts producing noticeable growth. At a 7% annual return, $100,000 becomes $200,000 over time. Then $300,000, and eventually, with consistency, the number approaches $1 million. This is the fourth stage of wealth. And it is often misunderstood. People imagine visible luxury. But the real change is not what life looks like, it's how money behaves. At $1 million, a 7% return represents $70,000 per year. Not guaranteed, not fixed, but meaningful. For the first time, money begins contributing to life in a real way. Psychologically, this reduces dependence. Work is still necessary. But it is no longer absolute. Choices expand. People can change jobs without panic, negotiate differently, walk away from environments that don't fit. Because the future is no longer entirely dependent on salary. But even here, a mistake appears. Confidence increases. And with it, lifestyle pressure returns. Bigger home, more expensive car, higher recurring costs. And once again, the system tries to convert progress into consumption. Those who continue building wealth resist that pull. Not completely, but enough to keep ownership growing faster than lifestyle. They understand something simple. Every dollar has two possible futures. It can be spent, or it can become something that produces more dollars. Over the next decade, consistency compounds. No extreme risks, no unrealistic shortcuts. Just steady investing, controlled spending, and time. And eventually, net worth crosses into the millions. At this point, wealth is no longer a number. It becomes a structure, income from assets, flexibility in decisions, reduced sensitivity to short-term disruptions. Life becomes less about reacting, and more about choosing. What's interesting is that none of these stages require perfect decisions, but they do require awareness. Because the system most people live in is designed to keep them between stages, earning more, spending more, and never quite converting income into ownership. So the real question is not, how much do you earn? It's, which stage of wealth are you actually living in? Because each stage changes how you think, and how you think determines what you keep. If you find these calm, reality-based finance breakdowns useful, consider subscribing.